All right, we are live. All right, all you wonderful, awesome, freedom loving boys and girls, Centerline Systems. What is today? God, I don't even know. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah. Or no, today's Wednesday. See, Wednesday the 28th. Hey, welcome to our little live stream. Hopefully you join in. Just as I start all these, I think one of the things I'm going to do going forward is just kill a couple seconds at the very beginning to give people time to join in. And then also from my perspective, I know there's a delay in the video, but in tonight's live stream, we're going to talk about some belt pouches. We're going to talk about our utility pouch and our belt pouch. But before I do, I just want to, again, I hate to say it, I got to take a little bit of a point of personal privilege here at these and just try to, I'm trying not to do any political stuff over in Centerline Systems. If you want to see, that, go watch us on Mission Critical Podcast. But I do just want to share one thing, because in all the gear we make, and you've heard me kind of talk about, I really do believe in this, again, whether it's a violent crime, whether it's a violent storm, whether it's a violent animal, right? Like, we're human beings, we're fallible. We're even the best of us, who can protect ourselves, can't beat a grizzly bear. Maybe you can. I don't know. I can't. But here, I just want to share something here, because this is going to kind of come into a little bit of the pouches. And I'm not trying to make light of this in the least bit, but I think it's kind of despicable. Well, here, you know what? I'm not even going to share it, because I think it is a little despicable. So let me just do the story real quickly. So, if you're following anything other than the mainstream media, another poor young person, a female, was jogging, was assaulted, and was killed. In our mainstream media, they're trying to basically, there's a commenting in the New York Post, this I will say, so go just look at the article up in the New York Post, where one of the people they're interviewing is making the inference or alluding to the fact that, well, because she resisted, the assailant probably panicked and killed her, right? And that's just horrible and despicable. I mean, shifting blame onto the individual. But I think I hate to say it, but there's always a lesson to be learned in anything and everything in life. And one of those is you have to be prepared. And, I'm not saying she wasn't prepared. And it sounded like she tried to call 911 and she tried to defend herself, but you have to be prepared, because no matter what happens in life, evil exists and bad things can happen, right? So I know that's kind of a little bit of a stretch, but I really believe that, whether it's a piece of gear, whether it's a belt, whether it's your clothing, whether it's your vehicle, know these tools and know these instruments and know how to use them to help, make, I guess just make, I don't want a level playing field. I want it to be skewed. I want it to be like totally on my side, that I'm going to win every time, right? So there's just my little comment there as we get going into tonight's podcast. But just everybody be safe out there. Everybody be be on guard, and just be on your toes, and realize that you can make that phone call, but unless they're right there in your back pocket, the time it takes for something horrible and tragic to happen is usually much faster than it takes for somebody to come to your rescue, right? So on that note, so one of the things that you can do to always be prepared, whether that's in an urban environment, wilderness environment, any type of setting, is you should have some. Well, how are you going to carry this stuff? So we've got our OC, our outdoor caddy, excuse me, and I've got a bunch of my props over with my photographer, and that's what I was going to do tonight, but I'm going to have to hold off on that. But that's just another, way in which you can carry, whether it's life-saving, materials. Again, that could be your own meds. And it's the same with both of the pouches I'm going to describe tonight, which is our EDC utility pouch and our EDC belt pouch, right? So here, I'll just kind of start right here, kind of jumping ahead. So I carry one of these on my right side, and I carry my OC on my left side. But this has my little survival tin, and it's got some compartments in there, and that's got a bunch of little tubes, and that's where I carry my emergency medicine, boo-boo kit, a couple other items like that. So always carry it with you, because how many times somebody cuts themselves and they're sucking on their finger, trying to staunch the bleeding on their really nice shirt. You're hang on a second, I got that, right? So being prepared, right? So the EDC utility pouch. Well, and hello to, I'm seeing some comments here. Mackenzie, reading your comments. That's why I hate being in Canada. I have absolutely no rights to carry in public and protect my life. Yeah, and that's just a scary thing, no matter where you live. I mean, because whether you believe in, however you want to look at it, but that's everyone's right. That's a human unalienable right, your ability to defend yourself. And it's just, I kind of bouncing past that, but I found it so horrible and just mind-boggling that somebody would try to blame the victim. Oh, if she wouldn't, like the imposition here, moving on. Moving on. Well, maybe we'll talk about that over on Mission Critical podcast. All right, let's talk about utility pouches. Thanks, Mackenzie, for getting me spun up there, brother. I appreciate it. All right, so we have two pouches, our EDC utility pouch and our EDC belt pouch. I'm going to start on the utility pouch and kind of just go through this a little quickly because I really want to focus tonight on some interesting things that have come up in the last about the last week regarding the belt pouch. Some questions that people have been asking, and some ways they wanted to modify it. And I thought that was really interesting, and that's what I want to share with you here tonight. But as you can see, the EDC utility pouch, excuse me, it's a little bit more narrow. You can still get a survival tin in here, on the horizontal, but it's taller, obviously, because this was designed for, and I just said it, I don't have mine here with me because they're over at my photographer for props, but think of like larger flashlights, a Leatherman tool. I mean, you could obviously put a really robust first aid kit in here, but again, it's for taller things. Like, so here's a large flashlight. This is actually, I've had this for so long. I don't even know if these guys are in business. Phantom Warrior. What's really cool is this had by switching some things around, it could be infrared, but then there's a really cool setting where it's so dim, it's designed for reading at like this level. So it's good for like light discipline, but this is super old. But like, this is a larger flashlight. You can see it, so you can start picturing, this, a Gerber, maybe a knife or some other type of utility tool or a pouch. Or if you're going camping, now this, and I'll probably put this link down below, but it's CountyComm. And if you haven't heard me talk about these guys in a previous video, CountyComm.com. And so it's county, and then it's COMM.com. And they've got all kinds of cool stuff. And then this is one of them right here. So like if you were out camping, you could turn this pouch into your spice pouch if you wanted to, right? So these guys are awesome for putting spices and liquids in. They're, food safe. And you can see you could stack up let me see if I can do this properly. Yeah, you can stack. I think I've had 4 in here easily before, but you can get a bunch of these. So maybe this becomes like, your kitchen set for, again, keeping your spices, your spork, your folding knife, whatever you're going to use at the campsite. Obviously, chem lights. Yeah, there's a chem light that fits in here perfectly. So if you're going to use it for an emergency signals kit, chem light, flashlight, VS17, maybe some fire starting material so you can get a fire going as part of your signal. And you can see you could get a very robust fire kit in here if you really wanted to. That's a lot. But now here's and then one more thing on like a personal defense side. So this is an ASP baton, and that fits in there too. So if your personal defense is less than, not kinetic in nature, right? But that would fit in here as well. An ASP baton. Get some stuff out of the way. I got a lot of props for tonight, but here's a unique thing that someone asked me a little over a week ago. This question was about 2 weeks ago. Hey, it'd be really cool if you could build that out of material. So it would be like, like a Faraday cage type of thing. So you could use it for your cell phone and help protect your cell phone or your PDA or your article. So this is one of those type of products. So I'm not going to do that myself, but you can go get those type of products out there. And you can see here, I could fit that inside of the utility pouch and then have my phone in there. If that was something you were concerned of, because like, seriously, like just on a theft level, anything with an RFID, your wallet, your phone, I mean, it's criminal elements, yeah, most of them might be dumb, but some of them are pretty smart. And there's ways to do that. And I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. But if you wanted to put a pouch in there, to help shield your electronics from exposure from hackers, and the guy who's going to, sell your information to that prince from overseas because you won the lottery or whatever the case is. And then another item. So again, from a survival perspective, you could take, and this is a flare gun, obviously, right? It's not a real, it's not a real weapon, but it's a flare gun from Orion, and Orion makes a lot of signal devices. So this one I'll kind of shove in there so you can just get a better sense of it. You see kind of just going in there. So I could easily, if this was my emergency signals kit, I could put my flare gun in here, have a bunch of flares in there as well. It'll close over. And then now this is on my person, whether, because it could be mollied, it could be worn through a belt loop, it could be attached to a part, another part of your kit or on your rucksack. And then now, hey, that thing right there, that has all my emergency signal when it comes to like flares or again, you could still, there's and you can see there's space in here because of the shape of the flare gun. You could easily have a whole bunch of tinder in there. You could have, other items as well. So that's our utility pouch. And that's kind of just a quick down and dirty. I suppose I should have said, so it's got MOLLE on the back. So again, you can, depending on how you weave the MOLLE through the rows, you could wear it on your belt. You can attach it to other items, weave it through the item, weave it back through the utility pouch, your item, the utility pouch, your item, and snap. So it's going to be super secured. So again, if this is your old crap, I don't want to be out without whatever's in this pouch, well, you'll be able to secure it and carry it on your person or have it on that rucksack without it falling out. And then you got some Velcro up on the front if you want to throw a little like cool guy stuff, or maybe you've got a small patch and that, with a fire or whatever it is, water. And that's why, oh, that's my, filtration system, or that's my fire starting kit. So a little bit of that there, so you can kind of be cool guy with it. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna take a sip and we're gonna move over to the belt pouch. How's everybody doing today? It's Monday. It feels like Monday, and it's not. Man, just another kick-ass day, right? I hope you're having a kick-ass day too. All right, I was getting parched. Hey, before I go into the belt pouch, and I know there's only, well, I don't know if there's only 6 people, because I'm not 100% clear if YouTube, ScrewTube, Twitter, and Rumble, I see that we're live on those platforms, but I really am not getting a sense that it actually shows me the true numbers. So for whoever is watching, we're going to do a quick little giveaway real quickly, because I just found this when I was looking for some of these props. This is one of our key DCs, and it was left over from our stocking stuffers. Right, so it's one of our little key DCs. It can be worn as a necklace. There's a little slip pocket in the rear where you could put, a Fresnel lens or a signal mirror. You can use it as a wallet. You could use it as an emergency fire kit, a little emergency boo-boo kit. Go to the website. You can see more details. I've got some videos. But yeah, I just found this one. This is an ATAX FGX with one of our swamp green logos. We don't really use those that much anymore. Got a little fuzzy Velcro on it. But we're going to give this away. And here's the contest. And it's only going to be for you guys right now here on the live stream. And again, and I apologize, I don't know what the lag times are. Are all 3 platforms, is the lag time the same? I don't know. We're about to find out. Roger Coffee checking in from Texas. Your timing's perfect, Roger. You might be able to win one of these. And then I got somebody giving a big thumbs up from, I think, California. All right, here we go. The contest. And it's going to be simple. So it's going to be fast. And it's going to be whoever can get on there first. Who was Fredbear? Who was Fredbear? Whoever comes up with that answer, the closest answer, is going to win this right now. And I'll send it to you for free. Who was Fredbear? And let's give it a second. Let's see if anybody can tell me who Fredbear was. Drum roll. The suspense is building. Did he just throw a contest at us out of nowhere? Is no one going to know the answer? There it is. Elf3553. I'll accept that answer, sir. Wow. Big Visk. Yeah. Well, I see Roger's got the better answer, but Elf3553 was the first in there. But Roger, Archery Genius. That is really good. Matter of fact, Roger, you get a consolation prize for having a great answer, which is Archery Genius. But Elf3553, you're the winner. So shoot me an email or give me a phone call. This is gonna be a shorter live stream tonight. So either give me a call or shoot me an email. You can find all that information on my website in the contact us portion. Shoot me an email, then we'll just exchange some info, and then I'll drop this in the mail for you. And then for Roger, just because, well, and Big Visk, I'm going to give 3 prizes. I'm going to just be a little generous here, because Big Visk, Elf3553, you barely beat Big Visk out. That could have been something. Fredbear, archery, bow, and yeah, Roger. But then Roger Coffee, Archery Genius. I like that answer. That made me chuckle because he was a genius. So I'm going to hook all 3 of you guys up with one of these. I know I've got 1 or 2 more, so I know I can handle it for everybody. If you don't mind the color combo, Elf3553, Big Visk, Roger Coffee. Give me a phone call, shoot me an email. Roger, actually, I think I just shipped some stuff to you, recently. I think I just did, sir. Not too bad. I'll just send you another one, or I'll send you this in a separate envelope. But you 3 gentlemen, reach out to me, contact me, and I'll hook you guys up with a key DC, Fredbear. And if you guys, everyone else watching, if you don't know who Fredbear is, go and do some research. Fredbear, not only archery genius, outdoorsman extraordinaire. And I think that maybe was my a little bit of my subconscious, because I think I'm going to be able to bow hunt this year. Maybe I just had a little Fredbear in the brain. I don't know. All right, here we go. let's jump into the EDC belt pouch. And I'm going to throw this again. I've already done videos on this for loadouts. I'm going to show you a few things, but as what we're trying to do here, I really just kind of want some feedback, and I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to answer some questions. So I've had some people, so it's a belt pouch. It has belt loops. I've had people like, well, can't you put Molly on it? I don't know about you, but I don't know how in the hell you're going to reach, behind you or wherever. You're way more limber than me to slide this on over your belt and then reach back there and snap on the snaps. So that's one thing right there. So that's why there's no snaps. But the more important thing is you can see, there's just not a lot of real estate here. I would have to make the pouch a little bit more, I'd have to increase the height a little bit so I'd have more room to put a snap down here. And, when it's Molly, you really want to go first row is through the other product, second row through your product. The first row is what you're attaching it to. Let me be more specific. Second row back through you, third row back through that other item, and then snap onto itself. You can just see there's not enough real estate there. And more importantly, for me anyway, it's so much easier just to slide this through my belt when I'm putting my belt on in my trousers than it is for me. Maybe I'm just really, not only am I getting old, but I'm not even limber anymore. But I have no idea how in the hell I could reach back there and snap this in place. I know that's what people are looking for, but really I don't know how hard it can be. You're putting your belt on through your belt loops. Well, just go through there. And then more importantly, a snap can come undone. I'm assuming that this is carrying some of your most mission critical type of products, right? Things that you don't ever want to be without. So if that's the case, and if you don't ever want to be without it, then why would you want to take the risk that it could fall off, right? Oh, hang on. We got, let me just show a quick thing here. Dave isn't funny. So before I get into it, so that was the prototype horizontal. That was on the utility pouch. So to Dave isn't funny. I've seen you before. I love that name. We actually were doing it this way initially with the flap opening on that side. We just didn't get, Dave, you like it. I'm awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Most people actually were voting for, hey, just put it up and down, vertically. And then that way their flashlights and stuff stack a little bit differently. But, and then just one more comment here. Gene from across the pond. Yeah, Molly seems to be a little bit much for this. And I agree with you on that one, Gene. So that's why we're just, and more importantly, it's just the real estate. There's just not enough real estate. I have to make it a much larger pouch, and for all the people saying, well, Mark, just sew it. Like, it doesn't work that way, boys and girls. But so that's one thing, just to explain why it's like this. Because this way, your pants would have to be ripped off your body. Your belt would have to be cut or severed or ripped off your body for this to fall out. If there's a snap, and especially if it's down low and just kind of, you can see there's not a lot of room there. So if that ever got snagged on something, even your trousers as you're moving, that could undo the snap. And then, I don't know about you, but I'd hate to be 10 miles down the trail and then my emergency fire starting kit or my fire starting kit or my emergency meds is like somewhere back on the trail. So that's why we do it with the belt loops. It's going to really hold it there a lot more. Again, see the video. Oh, and I guess one last thing before I kind of jump into these other unique things. So Velcro across there, you can get a little Velcro panel right here. That's an add-on. And then you can put your little patch there for what you want it to be, whatever. You do you, right? But so we're not going to do a whole loadout. I'm just going to show you some of the more unique ways that people have been reaching out to me recently and asking how to use it. But before I do that, right, you can just see in there, right? So again, this is a survival tin. This is what it was designed around, and I'll get back to that in a second. And then here's like a good thing of survival matches. Your survival tin, move this mic just a tad. Here, I'll just come in there. You can either come in vertically, and as you saw what I just did, and that gives you a ton of space on the side where you can put either items, lighters, survival matches, or the way I wear mine is I put mine in horizontally, and then I have all the space up top, and then I've got a small micro flashlight, a space pen, and I got some business cards behind it, and then I've got a roll, like a thing of medical gloves rolled up, and tight where I could just grab and pull them if I needed medical gloves. I'm going to move Gene off of here real quickly. Give me 1 second before we go further. I got awesome and sweet, and that's awesome from Big Fist, Big Visk. So again, you guys, all three, it's on the website. It's Mark at center-line-systems.com. Phone numbers on there as well. So whether you want to shoot me an email with your shipping info, I'll probably will be pinging you guys because I know I have a couple more, and I'll try to see, and I'll just let everybody know. If you guys don't mind, I might just blind CC everybody in one email and say, here's the 3 colors. Alf 3553, you get first pick, and then we'll just kind of go. And then after that was Big Visk and then Roger. So, okay, we'll go out on that. But anyway, so that's the pouch, right? And that's how it's kind of designed, and that's how it can be used, is that right there. All right, kind of good timing. We're at 20 minutes. We had a nice little contest out of nowhere. And then I'm going to show you guys some very unique things that have been requested recently. And I'm going to give a huge shout out to Phil, because Phil was the last person who made a very specific request. And I was going to do this video tonight, and then Phil got in touch with me. But all right, so here's the deal. Again, you do you. Right. If you don't like, concealed carry, if you don't like personal defense, or, if you think nature is just all wonderful, and if this is what I'm about to say, if this kind of turns you off, then tune out or just don't watch the video anymore. No harm, no foul, right? You do you. But some people carry concealed, right? Some people are into personal defense. Some people are into everyday carry for a variety of reasons. One of them could be to defend themselves, their family, and innocent people around them. Well, when you're wearing a hoodie, if you're in a state where you carry concealed, your clothing is all about your concealment. And when you're in the grocery store and you're reaching, or you're doing some activity, even at the gas station, for example, every time you do this, your clothing binds and comes up. Well, if that pops up and then somebody sees a traditional, spare magazine holder, depending on where you live, some people might freak out about that. Like, oh my God, he's got a gun, or whatever the case is. But if you did that, and then this is all you see, well, how do you think people would respond to that? Grocery store, out in public where it is, they'd be like, yeah, it's a guy who carries a cell phone, or he's maybe an insulin pump, and on that note, I have guys who have those smaller insulin pumps, and they're wearing this, and they've got their insulin pump in here, and that's running in. So it's a good life-saving thing, kind of keeps it protected, keeps it concealed. Yeah, I think for some of the pumps, though, some of you guys, and no offense, I don't know enough about the subject, but I know some of them you want to be able to manipulate, others you just take out and manipulate. So, but I know some people who have, who are diabetic, and they're carrying their insulin pump in this. So that's another way of doing it. And that's not what Phil brought up. This was more of, hey, I want something, more low vis, more discreet. I don't want it something screaming, there's a guy, who's carrying concealed, or there's a guy, whatever the case is. So I started talking to this fine gentleman about it, and, and I'd never actually had thought about using it that way. I actually carry a little bit different. But so here's what we did. So I took, as you can see, these are like my training magazines. So I took a couple Glock 19 magazines, and that's what he was requesting. And I can fit 3 Glock 19 magazines in here, as you can see. But the problem, because this wasn't designed for that, is the problem is on the flap. I really can't get the flap over enough to really give it. It's on there, and I could really work it, manipulate, and cram it. But you get the point. It's not quite there. So we make everything, right? It's all handcrafted. You've heard me say this a million times. So this is one of those easy fix that we can do, right? This is an easy modification. This is, hey, I want this. Can it work this way? Well, all I have to do is when I cut this piece of material, I'm just going to make this probably about an inch larger, because you can see I'm just about an inch shy. That's a little over an inch right there. It's about an inch and a half. So if I make that an inch larger, the flap is going to be down here on the Velcro. So that I can do all day long. So if this is something, a way in which you would use this pouch for a more discreet, low profile, low vis concealed carry, just give me a holler. I'm not going to make this an option, but I can do this all day long. And thanks to Phil for reaching out to me, because that's just a genius idea. And truth be told, I really like it. And if I was going to carry and had spare magazines, this is exactly what I would do. It's a little bit slower to get at, but if you stack your magazines, you're wearing them the right way, they're still going to come out and deploy the way they should. So you can have a good load, right? That's how you're supposed to do it, right? So you can stack them however you want. You can get 3 magazines in there. You could do 2 magazines and some GSW kit, gunshot wound. You could have some Talon gloves, or throw some gloves in there, or just do as many mags or whatever you want to do. And then on that note, another everyday carry thing, and this is kind of where it's between, and it's you, the individual, right? You all heard me say it a million times. You do you. If you want to carry, some people prefer much larger flashlights, right? Well, to me, that's more the utility pouch size of flashlight. you're getting into, you know, so what is this one? This is a Phoenix. Yeah, this one's a Phoenix. All right. And then I've got a Surefire here. Yeah, this is a Surefire. You can see. So on those guys, you know, that Surefire, pushing the limit. He's just a little bit too long, but he can go in there. He can go in there at an angle, and you can get it in there. Right? Depends on what the gear you're carrying. This smaller Phoenix. So again, I'm sure most of you guys and gals are familiar with these guys, right? These little like a survival match tins. Right. So if your flashlight is about the same size, maybe just a tad larger, like this Phoenix, that's going to work inside there. You know, you start. There you go. See it right there. It's just barely over the top, but that's going to fold over it all day long, right? So flashlights, you know, small, you know, Gerber tools, like a large Gerber tool goes in the utility pouch, but some of those smaller SOGs, and I think Gerber even has a smaller one, that can still fit in here. You can get your survival tin, right? I personally like putting my survival tin on the horizontal, but you can still put it vertically, and then you could have your flashlight next to, you know, right alongside of it. So you do you on the everyday carry aspect of it. And that's what this was designed for. But I did just want to show off that thing that Phil had asked me, and we're going to make one for him along those lines. And that got me thinking, well, then why not do the video and then just show a couple other things? Because Phil got my brains going. My brains. I only have one brain, and there's not much there. So it wasn't plural. It's only one. But got my brain going, and I thought of a couple other things. So, hey, what if you're out hunting, right? Little boxes of 22 ammo. Let's see how many of those guys go in there, right? Because maybe this is all you're taking with. I mean, and if you're taking, that's 3 boxes of 22 ammo, and with space on top for whatever else I wanted to put in there. That's a lot of 22 ammo. I don't know what kind of hunting you're doing, but it just gives you another, you know, another example. Maybe you just put that in there and then zip tie it to the outside of another pouch, and you're good to go, right? So that's a potential option, right? Just giving you some other alternative ways that you can use this that you may not have thought of, and giving you some examples. I did that same thing. I don't know if I'll do this again because it's just kind of boring, but here's 12 gauge shells. So here, if you really want me to do it, leave a comment and say, Mark, I want you to put all 10. I have 10 of these things. I can get 10 12 gauge shotgun shells in that. So that seems a little bit more realistic than 150 rounds of 22. You know, you're going out bird hunting. Hey, 10 rounds. I mean, if you come across a covey, you know, that's still a lot of shotgun ammo, you know, for when you're out hunting, right? You know, if you're grouse hunting or squirrel hunting, 10 rounds is quite a bit, you know, besides what's in your platform. So that's another option right there. And then the final one, kind of wrapping up this podcast, is hey, you do you. Whatever's legal in your state and it's not against the law, you know, how you use these items, you know, the gear that we make, that's up to you. And here's what somebody told me that they were doing, because medical marijuana, and I've got some props because we were doing the Popo pouches. Now, those didn't really take off very well. But hey, if you're into medical marijuana, I know you know what this is, right? So this person had that and one of these things, you know, like you can already see where I'm going this. You figured out yourself. I guess these lighters are all the fad amongst the kids now. So one of these little lighters, you know, and then a little container for, you know, whatever. I just got a little battery thing in there, but you would have tons of room in there for even more of your smoking pleasure or whatever. Again, if it's legal in your state, I don't care, right? You do you. All right. I think that kind of wraps it up. But my main point, Gene, yeah, gummy bears. Oh, they're hidden right now. Where are they? They're hidden. Yeah, Gene, you could throw, honestly, Gene, you could probably throw like about a fifth of that bag to a quarter of that bag of gummy bears in here, if that's what you wanted to do, Gene. You are exactly correct. They would fit in there. I think that's going to wrap it up. I wanted to give Phil a quick shout out and let everybody know, if you are a concealed carry, if you're into EDC and you want to put something in here that's just a little bit larger, I'm not going to make a whole new pouch, right? This is designed around the survival tins, fire starting, emergency signal. That's really what the design was about, you know, emergency medicine, the things that you just didn't want to be around or be without. But with a small little tweak, yeah, I can make this flap larger. And as long as you're running something that's equivalent to like a 19 magazine, well, and you know, just think about it. If it's a single stack, you know, subcompact mid-frame, you could even get more magazines in here if that's what you're looking to do, right? If that's your thing. So just another kind of, I thought again, props to Phil, a very unique way of looking at this product and how it could be used. Although Gene's idea of throwing gummy bears in there, Gene, they should probably be in a plastic bag before you throw them in there, sir. You do you, though. If you want those sticky little bastards in there, that's how you get ants, Gene. That's how you get ants. All right, that's going to kind of wrap it up. Thanks to Elf 3553, Big Visk, and Roger. Thumbs up. You guys hit me up afterwards. Shoot me an email, give me a phone call, and I will hook you up with a key DC. I really like it. And that was kind of how we're going to do things going forward every now and then. And, I know that was a little easy. Fred Bear was kind of easy. You guys all kind of came in at the same time. That's why I'm going to honor that, because that could have just been a lag time on where you're watching this. But Fred Bear, if you don't know who he is, just go do a little research. I mean, that was a bad mamma jamma right there. That guy knew his shit. And still somebody that we should listen to this day. All right. Any last questions? Anything? Big Visk, thank you very much. Let me just do that. Very versatile. G-Dog Hammerspring. And I know who you are, and I love your name. But what's up? Well, we're wrapping up this live stream. That's what's up, my good man. We're wrapping up the live stream. Hey, I really appreciate everybody joining us. Like I said, we're going to keep doing this. I don't know if I'm going to continue the Monday, Wednesday. I might only do this once a week. Shoot for Wednesday. Again, you're trying to live a life. You got a small business. You got a million other things going on. We're doing Mission Critical podcast. Yeah. So, and I'm trying to do static videos too, because I found out the live streams, I can't put them onto the website. I have to have that kind of more video on demand. So yeah. And then I'm trying to make kick-ass gear. So here's the last thing. Tom Fitzgerald. Whoops. Sorry, I missed it. Are you saying you were snoring or you were choring? Oh, you were doing chores, Tom. Hopefully your chores were making dinner, getting dinner ready. Hey, I'm going to show everybody one last little thing. We're almost ready, right? Almost ready to go with these. That's the Edo, right? And I mentioned, in one of our previous videos, and I'll open this up in a second. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can see that little addition of the material on the bottom, and it actually comes right down inside here too. But this is an Edo in Wolf Gray. We're kind of working on our timing runs, getting that finished off. We'll kind of take this enclosure snap off, which is where you'd put your pens, chem lights, pencils, all that kind of stuff. And I think you'll be able to see this a little bit more now when I'm talking about that material on the sides, right? And that's what we kind of had to do, to add a little bit of that. So it makes it easier on the sewing side. And then that's kind of what it looks like from the inside. So that's actually working. That was actually something we didn't do before when we were making them years ago. So another just a little advancement, because that's going to make it better on the efficiency. And I think you guys are going to like it a lot better too. And it kind of balances off, where the pocket flaps are and all that kind of stuff. So we're almost ready with these. I will have these up by the weekend. We're just finishing up our timing run. And then I've already done most of the cost of goods. So I just got to finish just a few more things to finish up. And then the Edos will be out there as well. That does it. We went a little bit long, 33 minutes. Doing chores, Tom Fitzgerald. Yeah, do some chores. And that's what I'm going to do here next too, because, somebody's got to make dinner. And I guess that somebody is me. All right, any final questions? I'll give just G-Dob Hammerspring says he'll give me a call tomorrow. All right, perfect. Thank you. Dave, all right, get a little final comment up here. Need one. I love your handle. Dave isn't funny. That's just classic. I really enjoy it. All right, no other comments or questions. Perfect. All right, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in on our little live stream, keeping these to 30 minutes, trying to be informative. Hopefully, you that made sense, right? So the utility pouch is for larger items, meant to be kind of more vertical. You can do vertical and horizontal in the belt pouch. Definitely designed to be static, because, if this is your last ditch, don't want to ever be without whatever it is, then it's got to be something that's affixed to your body, in my opinion. Gave you a couple more unique ways of using it, thanks to Phil and some other people who've reached out. Some of those in a little bit more of the Fast Times at Ridgemont High. What was his name? Piccoli, whatever his name was. Yeah, a little bit more on that side of the world. But hey, whatever. You do you. I don't care. As long as it's legal, it's not hurting anyone else out. You do you. All right, that's going to do it. Everybody, thank you for joining. Thanks for playing in our first contest. We had 3 winners. You guys reach out to me. Everybody else, reach out anytime if you got questions and comments. I will do the best I can to help you out. All right, until then, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, Gene, say it with me. Woo!